My name is Isabella Rossi, and at 30, I had everything, or so I thought. A blossoming career as a fashion designer, a beautiful apartment overlooking the city, and a fiancé, Marco, who I adored. My designs were my heart, each stitch filled with passion and creativity. I poured myself into my work, dreaming of seeing my creations grace the runways of Milan and Paris. Marco, also a designer, was ambitious and charming. We were a power couple, or at least that's how it seemed to everyone else. I remember sketching late into the night, fueled by coffee and inspiration, while Marco slept soundly beside me. I often shared my ideas with him, never suspecting that my trust would be betrayed. I believed in our future, in our shared dreams, never imagining the pain that awaited me just around the corner. My world was about to shatter. The pain was almost unbearable, a constant throbbing that echoed in my ears. I wanted to scream, to confront Marco, to demand answers. But a strange calm settled over me. Screaming wouldn't solve anything. I needed a plan. I wiped away the tears, my mind racing. Revenge, cold and calculated, began to take shape in my thoughts. I returned the phone to its place, my face carefully neutral as Marco walked back into the room. He smiled, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. I forced a smile back, masking the turmoil with practiced ease. "Everything okay, darling?" he asked, his voice smooth and reassuring. "Perfect," I replied, the lie tasting like ash in my mouth. In that moment, I knew I couldn't stay. But I wouldn't leave empty-handed. He would regret this. Oh, how he would regret this. The following weeks were a masterclass in deception. I continued to play the doting fiancé, attending events with Marco, smiling for the cameras, and offering encouragement as he prepared for his upcoming runway show. All the while, I was meticulously planning his downfall. I started documenting everything, every sketch I had shared with him, every conversation we had about my designs, every piece of evidence that proved those creations were mine. Late at night, after Marco had fallen asleep, I would whisper to myself, "You'll regret cheating on me, Marco. You'll regret stealing my dreams." The words were a mantra, a promise, a fuel for my burning anger. I channeled my energy into a new project, a secret collection that would eclipse anything Marco could ever create. It was my masterpiece, born from pain and fueled by a desire for justice. This was my calm before the storm. The storm I was about to unleash. Marco's star was rising rapidly. Magazine covers, interviews, and invitations to exclusive events became the norm. He basked in the attention, his ego inflating with each new accolade. He spoke of his vision, his genius, completely oblivious to the fact that he was building his empire on stolen foundations. I watched him, a silent observer, as he reveled in his success, knowing that his triumph was built on my pain. He'd often come to me, excitedly sharing sketches and fabric samples, seeking my approval. I would offer suggestions, subtly guiding him, all the while knowing that I was contributing to his eventual downfall. The irony was almost unbearable. The more successful he became, the more determined I was to expose him. His arrogance was a constant reminder of his betrayal, fueling my resolve. The higher he climbed, the harder he would fall. It all started with a simple sketch, a flowing gown inspired by a Tuscan sunset. I remember showing it to Marco, excitedly explaining the details, the way the fabric would drape, the colors that would blend together. He had been impressed, his eyes gleaming with admiration. Or so I thought. Later, I found a similar sketch in his notebook, almost identical to mine, but with slight alterations. I dismissed it as coincidence, a shared source of inspiration. But then it happened again, and again. A jacket with intricate embroidery, a dress with a unique silhouette, all my ideas, subtly transformed and presented as his own. He would watch me work, asking questions, probing for details, absorbing my creativity like a sponge. I was so blinded by love, I never suspected his true intentions. Now, looking back, the signs were all there. I was simply too naive to see them. While Marco was busy preparing for his show, basking in the glow of stolen glory, I was working on my own secret weapon, my collection. I rented a small studio, a hidden sanctuary where I could pour my heart and soul into my creations. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my identity, proving my talent, and showing the world what I was truly capable of. I worked tirelessly, sketching, sewing, and draping, fueled by a burning desire to create something extraordinary. I experimented with bold colors, innovative silhouettes, and intricate details, pushing myself beyond my comfort zone. This collection was a reflection of my journey, the pain, the anger, and the resilience. It was a phoenix rising from the ashes, a testament to my strength and determination. It was my masterpiece, and it was going to blow Marco's stolen designs out of the water. The invitation arrived a week before the show, a sleek, black card with gold lettering. Marco De Luca, Spring Collection Premiere. I stared at it, a mixture of anger and anticipation swirling within me. This was it. The stage was set. The world was about to witness Marco's triumph, a triumph built on lies and deceit. But I had a different plan in mind. I RSVP'd with a polite, looking forward to it. The irony was delicious. I imagined Marco's smug face when he saw me in the audience, thinking I was there to support him. He had no idea what was coming. This invitation wasn't just an entry to his show, it was an invitation to his downfall. It was my opportunity to reclaim what was rightfully mine and expose him for the fraud he truly was. The game was about to begin. In the days leading up to the show, I subtly started a whisper campaign. I contacted a few trusted fashion critics and influencers, people I had cultivated relationships with over the years. I didn't directly accuse Marco of plagiarism, but I hinted at the similarities between his designs and my earlier work, emphasizing my unique style and creative process. Have you noticed how Marco's work has evolved so dramatically lately? I'd ask, my voice carefully casual. It's almost as if he's discovered a whole new source of inspiration. I planted seeds of doubt, subtly suggesting that something wasn't quite right. I knew that in the fashion world, reputation was everything. A single whisper could ruin a career. And I was determined to make sure that Marco's carefully constructed image crumbled before his very eyes. The stage was set, the players were in place, and the curtain was about to rise. The day of the show arrived, a whirlwind of nervous energy and anticipation. I woke up early, my stomach churning with a mix of dread and excitement. I spent hours getting ready, carefully selecting an outfit that was both elegant and understated, a silent statement of confidence and power. I wanted to look like I belonged, like I was a force to be reckoned with. As I stepped out of my apartment, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. This was it. The moment of truth. There was no turning back. I hailed a cab, the city lights blurring past the window as I made my way to the venue. The air crackled with electricity, the anticipation palpable. Tonight, everything would change. Tonight, Marco's world would come crashing down. And I would be there to watch it happen. The venue was buzzing with excitement. The air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and anticipation. Flashing lights illuminated the runway, creating an atmosphere of glamour and extravagance. I took my seat in the front row, my heart pounding in my chest. The show began, and Marco's designs glided down the runway, each piece a testament to his genius. The audience gasped and applauded, captivated by his creations. I watched, my face carefully neutral, as models showcased my ideas, my dreams, my hard work. The anger simmered within me, threatening to boil over. But I remained calm, patient, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Marco's triumph was fleeting. His reign was about to end. The moment of truth was fast approaching. The final model strutted down the runway, showcasing a breathtaking gown that was the culmination of all my ideas, my dreams, my talent. The audience erupted in applause, a standing ovation for Marco's genius. He stepped onto the stage, beaming with pride, basking in the adoration of the crowd. He took a bow, acknowledging the accolades, his eyes sparkling with triumph. This was his moment, the pinnacle of his career, the validation of his hard work. Or so he thought. As he straightened up, ready to deliver his thank you speech, I stood up. The applause faltered, the lights dimmed, and all eyes turned to me. It was time. My time. The world was about to learn the truth. The real truth. Marco's stolen glory was about to be exposed. The silence was deafening. I walked towards the stage, my heels clicking against the polished floor, each step deliberate and unwavering. The spotlight followed me, illuminating my face, my expression resolute. Marco's smile faltered, his eyes widening in disbelief. He knew. He knew that his charade was about to end. I reached the stage, standing beside him, the contrast between his triumphant joy and my unwavering determination stark and undeniable. I took a deep breath, my voice clear and strong, cutting through the silence. These designs, I said, gesturing to the collection that had just been showcased, are not Marco's. They are mine. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. The air crackled with tension. The truth was about to explode. I held up a portfolio, filled with original sketches, fabric swatches, and design notes, each piece meticulously dated and documented. These are my original designs, I stated, my voice ringing with conviction. I created them, I nurtured them, and I shared them with Marco, trusting him with my heart and my dreams. I pointed to several key pieces in the collection, explaining the inspiration behind them, the techniques I used, and the challenges I overcame. I even had witnesses, former interns and seamstresses who had worked with me on the designs, ready to corroborate my story. Marco stood beside me, his face ashen, his eyes darting around the room, desperately searching for an escape. But there was nowhere to run. The truth was out, and it was undeniable. His world was crumbling before his very eyes. A murmur swept through the audience, growing into a cacophony of whispers and gasps. Heads turned, eyes widened, and mouths dropped open in disbelief. The fashion critics, who had once lauded Marco's genius, now exchanged knowing glances, the seeds of doubt I had planted taking root. Marco stammered, attempting to deny my claims, but his voice was weak and unconvincing. His carefully constructed facade crumbled, revealing the insecure, desperate man beneath. His humiliation was palpable, his career hanging by a thread. The applause turned to silence, the admiration to scorn. He had stolen my designs, my dreams, and my heart, and now he was paying the price. Justice, it seemed, had finally been served. But my revenge wasn't complete. Not yet. As Marco's career imploded on stage, mine was taking flight. A meticulously planned press release was sent out moments after my revelation, announcing the launch of my own collection, Isabella Rossi, Reborn. My website went live, showcasing stunning images of my designs, each piece radiating originality and passion. Simultaneously, a pop-up shop opened in a trendy downtown location, its windows adorned with captivating displays. The timing was perfect. The fashion world was already buzzing with the drama unfolding at Marco's show, and my collection provided a refreshing contrast, authentic, innovative, and undeniably mine. The media ate it up. My designs were instantly trending, attracting attention from buyers, influencers, and fashion enthusiasts alike. My revenge was complete. I had not only exposed Marco's deceit but also launched my own successful career, proving my talent and reclaiming my stolen dreams. The reviews poured in, each one more glowing than the last. Critics hailed my collection as a triumph of artistry, praising its originality, its innovation, and its emotional depth. They marveled at my use of color, my attention to detail, and my ability to tell a story through my designs. One critic wrote, "Isabella Rossi has emerged from the shadows, not just as a designer, but as a visionary. Her collection is a testament to the power of resilience and the transformative potential of art." Another declared, "Marco De Luca's designs were merely imitations, pale reflections of Isabella's true genius." My collection was not just a success, it was a phenomenon. It surpassed Marco's in every way, proving that true talent cannot be stolen or replicated. My name was on everyone's lips, and the future was brighter than ever. Marco, on the other hand, became a pariah. His name was mud, his reputation shattered beyond repair. Designers and influencers who once clamored to associate with him now shunned him like the plague. His career, once so promising, was reduced to ashes. I heard through the grapevine that he had lost everything: his apartment, his studio, even his friends. He was alone, isolated, haunted by the consequences of his actions. The whispers followed him everywhere, a constant reminder of his deceit. He had not only ruined his career but also destroyed his personal life. He had cheated on me, stolen my designs, and betrayed my trust, and in the end, he had lost everything. He had learned the hard way that you can't build a career on lies. He truly regretted cheating on me. I reveled in my success, not out of vanity, but out of a deep sense of satisfaction. I had not only reclaimed my stolen designs but also proven my worth as a designer. I had turned betrayal and heartbreak into something beautiful, something meaningful. I had transformed pain into power. I looked around my new studio, filled with sketches, fabric swatches, and the hum of sewing machines, and smiled. This was my kingdom, my domain, my testament to the power of resilience. I had emerged from the ashes, stronger and more determined than ever before. I had reclaimed my work, my dignity, and my future. And in doing so, I had found a strength within myself that I never knew existed. I was Isabella Rossi, and I was just getting started. The sting of Marco's betrayal faded with time, replaced by a quiet sense of peace and self-assurance. I was no longer defined by his actions, but by my own accomplishments. I found joy in my work, in the creative process, in the connections I made with other artists and designers. And then, there was Alessandro. A charming photographer who had captured the essence of my collection in his stunning images. We had spent hours discussing art, fashion, and life, and I found myself drawn to his warmth, his intelligence, and his genuine appreciation for my work. Perhaps, I thought, it was time to open my heart again. The future was uncertain, but it was filled with possibilities. A new chapter was beginning, and I was ready to embrace it. My world was brighter than ever. Looking back, I realized that my journey had been about more than just revenge. While exposing Marco's deceit had been satisfying, it was the pursuit of my passion that had truly healed me. It was the act of creating, of expressing myself through my designs, that had given me strength and purpose. I learned that true happiness doesn't come from external validation or from tearing others down, but from self-reliance and from pursuing your dreams with unwavering determination. I had found my voice, my identity, and my power. And I knew that no one could ever take that away from me again. I had finally understood that the most important thing is to believe in yourself and to never give up on your dreams, no matter how difficult the path may seem. Standing in my studio, surrounded by the tools of my trade, I smiled. The city lights twinkled outside my window, a symphony of hope and possibility. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, not as a threat, but as a promise to myself, I will always stay true to my art, and I will always follow my heart. It was a vow, a commitment to never compromise my creativity, to never let anyone steal my dreams again. It was a reminder that my strength came from within, from my passion, from my unwavering belief in myself. And as I opened my eyes, ready to face the future, I knew that I was finally free. Free from the pain of the past, free to create, free to love, and free to be the best version of myself. My journey had just begun.